Consistency. Is consistency important? I think most people would say, yes, it is. I don't think anybody wants to be a high roller coaster. I think you just want to be a high roller, right? You want to be consistent. And the follow-up question to that is, what is the key to consistency? I was asked that question in Los Angeles, so yes, one last LA footage here for you. And so I can't help but think of, really mastering your emotions. And again, I'll play that video in Los Angeles here in a second. But I want to quote a John Maxwell quote first. Obviously, I reference John a lot. He's been a great instructor and teacher for me over the years. And he says, the difference between winners and whiners is very simple. Whiners want to feel good before they do something, and winners do something so that they can feel good. Again, the question about how you feel plays a big part of it. I remember as a youngster in my early 20s, I can look back, I've been journaling my life, since I think the age of 24. And I remember writing in my journal, if it feels right, it is right. I'll spare you all the details that came after that, but if it feels right, it is right. And that thought process led me to a lot of pain. I learned quickly that your feelings can be very deceptive. And so if you're always looking to act based on your feelings, you might find yourself in a world of pain. So again, I'm going to reference that video here, but I just want you guys thinking about this, whether it's feelings or like motivation. I remember Brendan Fulkerson coined this phrase a while back, that when motivation is fleeting, that's when discipline must take over. Because you're not always going to be motivated. So again, when motivation is absent, just make sure the discipline takes over. I recently came across this meme, and it's got Michael Jordan obviously in the background. Underrated skill, competitive stamina. To be able to sustain competitive spirit from day to day, game to game, to be able to keep going no matter how you feel daily. How important is that? So this video is all about consistency. I hope you guys enjoy.
What's your take on consistency, Jamie? Because I think every time we go to those conferences or see people in regardless of the campaign, the industry, whatever, being consistent. I think there's people that switch from campaign to campaign, they're consistent. The owners that move programs, they're consistent. I think that's what makes people successful in the industry, is being consistent. Mm-hmm. What's your what makes someone consistent as a rep, as a leader, as an owner? What makes that person consistent in general?
Yeah, I'd say the people that are consistent, right? It starts with consistency in the brain first, right? People that consistently are in the gym 6 days a week, look at that physical specimen that's in the gym. Well, no, that starts in the brain first, because I'm sure there's times that those gym rats, because sometimes I'll look at these gym rats man, you're always here. Every time I come here, you're always here. And look at you, you look way better than me. But you can tell, and I've talked to some of these guys, you ever have days where you don't want to come to the gym? And they tell me, yeah, all the time. Well, what gets you out of bed? Well, I already made the decision I was going to be here. I already made the commitment. So I think consistency always starts in the brain. And I find people that are the most consistent, they're the best at battling emotions. Because emotions feelings are very deceiving, right? If we live in a world where we're told to just chase our feelings, boy, are you going to be led down a path of misery, because your feelings are going to deceive you. So you need to have some logic. Your heart and your brain need to know what department that they're in charge of, right? So decision making, I want to leave up to the brain, but the heart, I want to let it lead me. Okay, I want my heart to lead me. I want it to take me to places that my brain wouldn't have wanted me to go, but I want my brain to make the decision. So when the times happen, right? You wake up in the morning not feeling motivated like that. I gave you the example of how, forget about the sales, I just want to make 40 people laugh. Well, that day started off with I don't want to go to work today. Well, again, I don't want to entertain that feeling. And let's say I do go to work, but I'm coming into work sluggish and then I have 2 bad days in a row. Now I'm just letting negative momentum, run its course, and then I'm in a major slump, So no, I have to make a decision before I even get out of bed. You know what? Today I'm gonna make it fun. I'm gonna make 40 people laugh today. So again, just that decision-making process, overriding your emotions, I find is so crucial in being consistent. Because again, I think the emotions are what leads us to the world of inconsistency so much. You know, like doubt settles in. I mean, there's an emotion with doubt. I don't feel like it. I'd rather be doing something else. You know, distraction. But no, you gotta have some conviction, and you gotta know how to override that emotion. Consistency, and it feels good to win. I mean, you know, the best days at the gym for me, and the best field days, were those days where you'd win, but you'd reflect like, boy, it wasn't like that at the beginning of the day. Boy, at the beginning of the day, I'm like my best field days would always be days where I'm like, oh yeah, let me just finish this day off strong, maybe set up a couple good callbacks for tomorrow, and you know, and then all of a sudden I'll get the sale, and I'll hit the numbers I was looking for, and I'm kind of like, well, where did that come from? I'm like, man, that feels good to like, you know, I won today. So, you know, nobody's going to know the battles that I went through, the emotional battles I went through all day. But man, I won. I beat my emotions here today. Those days always felt good. It's like the gym days, the days that I have a good workout. And I'm like, man, I contemplated staying in bed longer today. I can't believe that foolish, you know, pathetic Jamie was going to stay in bed instead of, you know, hit the gym. Those days always feel great. So those are opportunities. Like if you're finding yourself inconsistent, those are opportunities to get consistent. And what will happen when you get consistent, the byproduct is confidence. Your self-confidence is going to shoot through the roof because you've proven to yourself that you know how to override emotions. What's that worth?